Jets Overtime. We are presented by SiriusXM. Eric Allen and Quincy Enunwa here on a frigid day at MetLife Stadium. The New York Jets fall to 4-11 on the year with a 19-9 loss to the LA Rams. This was a crazy game. The Jets never punted, Quincy, and yet the Rams go home a victor with a 10-point win.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that they did not punt because they didn't have to. They chose not to, and I think it was the right strategy. You want to see them be aggressive. Just unfortunately, they were not able to convert. The run game wasn't able to get going. They only had 20 attempts, while the other side, they had about 25 attempts from one running back. And then offensively, they weren't able to convert on 3rd and 4th down, and that really changed the tide.
Man, the Jets really came out of the gates on fire in this one. Despite the cold, they force a punt, and then they go 99 yards down the field, and that opening possession culminates on a beautiful connection from Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams. That was career touchdown, 499 for Rodgers.
Yeah, it seemed like they were chasing 500 today. I think ultimately you look at that drive, it was 7 for 7, pass and run. Then after that, they really started to go towards the pass a little bit more. Offensively, I liked the way they began the game. Defensively as well, right? You had that punt, and then you had the interception. It was a great start to the game, but ultimately it was a time of possession game. I talked about that in the pregame. And, you know, the Rams just had the ball for a long time, running the ball, running the clock. And that turnover, that fumble really changed the game.
Yeah, there's some Rodgers plays here from that opening possession. He was 15 of 20 in the first half, Quincy, for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. And he seemed to be in a good early groove, and that even continued out there in the third quarter. This is an opening possession I think we're watching right here. Great patience by Rodgers on the touchdown to Davante Adams.
Yeah, absolutely.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, for a team that was not running the ball too much, the play-action pass was magnificent, honestly. I mean, you saw a lot of those passes, the touchdown. There was a couple other plays where he got the defense really sucked up and then, you know, throwing it behind their heads, you know. So it was a good showing, good play calling. I think just bad execution from the Jets today.
What do you think about the strategy? We're going to hear from interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich coming up in a few moments. But like you said, the strategy today was to be aggressive. The Jets finished 2 of 5 on 4th down, so that means on a couple of those possessions, short fields for the Rams, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a situation where you want to play upset, you have to play aggressively. I think they tried to blitz him a little bit. They tried to put some pressure on him. I saw a stat that said 10 of 19 of his passes were behind the line of scrimmage, right? So he wasn't able to get down the field. He had a couple where he was able to get down, but it was really the run game and guys just making great individual efforts for the Rams.
Let's go to interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich. He's at the podium.
Yeah, I'll start with injuries. Tony Adams had the ankle, did not return. Could have came back in an emergency role there at the end. Sauce with the hamstring, he gave it a try and ultimately didn't finish, and then Ola with the foot. Beyond that, I'll take questions with you guys.
Can you provide a little bit more on Ola? That didn't look great.
Yeah, we'll get more information as we get some scans and a deeper look at it. He was in some pain for sure.
Is there any worry there with Achilles and a foot's wise? Is there any worry with Achilles or anything like that, or is it strictly?
I think it's too early to speculate any of that. They got to take a look at it.
But could you take us to the decision, the 4th down decision at your own 33, right? And early on, why you decided to go forward there?
Yeah, for one, their offense was being very efficient at that point, and our offense was being very efficient as well, and we were maintaining drives, we were moving the ball, we were converting on 3rd and 4th there for a while, so just wanted to stay aggressive. Keep the ball in our offense's hands.
Same question on the opposite end of the field on the 4th and 4. Why not just take the field goal instead of going for the 4th and 4?
Well, if we'd lost some yards, I would have definitely taken the field goal. But again, I wanted to stay aggressive, you know, on their side of the on their side of the field, and we wanted to go for it. We felt good about the play that we had called. Aaron felt good about it as well. So we thought that was the best decision at the time.
Garrett Wilson had just 3 targets with that play. There was 8 minutes left in the game, and then he had a few on the final drive. But why was he not targeted much early on there?
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll go into the tape and definitely have some answers for you tomorrow.
4th down with the 13. Rick, is there an argument to be? I think it was a 14-play drive. You guys have held the ball a long time. Just come away with some points there to you know, come away feeling good after that drive rather than an empty feeling after a long drive.
Yeah. You know, Hindsight's 20/20, always, But I really felt at that point that we were so efficient, and we were doing such a good job on 3rd and 4th down that it was the right thing to do at that point, and we had some momentum, and I felt like their defense was on their heels a little bit, and obviously fatigued after a long drive, and I thought we could finish the drive, and I was looking for a touchdown.
So, despite the outcome, what are some positives you can take away from today's game going into next week?
Yeah, not to sound, redundant, but this group, they absolutely have no quit in them. They are fighting. Every single human being in that locker room should be proud of their effort. Now, did we get it done? No, so it's not good enough, But ultimately, that locker room is staying together, and they're finishing.
When Aaron went into the injury tent, was there some concern that he might not be able to finish?
Oh, yeah, there's always that, especially when they go into the tent. But again, he demonstrates how tough he is, to go out there and finish, and he's such an amazing teammate in that way because of his obligation that he feels to his teammates, and he finished the game for us.
One of the old tenets of football, right? Is a cold weather day lends itself to the running game. I think you guys had 44 dropbacks and 20 rushes. It just feels completely unbalanced on a day like today. Why was that?
Yeah, and some of those are called runs that he just sees, heavy boxes, and he rips the run alerts and the RPO stuff. So there would have been definitely more runs had we done that. Again, we'll look at it. I'll say this, though, that especially that first half, we were very efficient, offensively moving the ball. So, but as always, we'll take a hard look at what we did, what we can do better.
Vote for longtime Jets fan Joe Abramski, a retired FDNY 9/11 responder, to be crowned the 2024 NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Scan the QR code to learn more about Joe and cast your vote. You're watching Jets Overtime, presented by SiriusXM. Eric Allen and Quincy Anunua here at MetLife Stadium. Let's just jump right into the film right now. We're powered by Microsoft, as always.
Yeah, so offensively, there were some good plays today. Specifically this first one here, this touchdown, right, to end a 14-play drive to Devontae Adams. What I want to show right here is this is usually a play where you have 3 levels, right? So you have 1, 2, and 3, Conklin, Garrett Wilson, and then Devontae Adams in the back of the end zone. Devontae Adams' job is to be patient. So I'll show it in the next clip. But right here, just watching Aaron Rodgers scrolling outside and then making that pass over number 3. What a great pass. Devontae Adams knows that he's got to be the last guy, the last outlet. He's patient. He's towing that back sideline, that back end line, and then what a pass over. And then look at the toe tap, Michael Jackson. Let me zoom in for y'all. Yes.
Damn, that is
Body
beautiful,
awareness.
Q.
Body and field awareness right there. Just a good job by Devontae Adams, showing up every week for this team. Now, on this one, Breece Hall is one of the best guys out of the backfield catching the ball, and here I'd like to show you guys it because he just knows how to split two. And what I mean by split two, let me rewind it for y'all so you can see what I'm talking about here, right? So when I talk to the young, I always tell them when there's 2 guys in front of you, you want to aim at one guy and then split 2. So that way you break those arm tackles. You don't want to go head up on somebody. You split 2. Look how many more yards you got. About 8 to 10 more yards just by splitting 2. Great job from this ball carrier. Breece Hall is a beast.
Man, you are performing at a playoff level with your telestration each week. And Bobby D, we're
Yes, sir,
applauding
my
you
guy.
back at One Jets Drive.
Batman and Robin.
You are
He's Batman,
getting
though. He's
that
a beast.
done. All right, let's go back into the Jets locker room right now. Here's Caroline Hendershot standing by with right tackle Morgan Moses.
With Morgan Moses. Morgan, what wasn't working in that second half for you guys offensively that wasn't clicking in the way that you guys wanted it to?
I think we just hurt ourselves, man. We moved the ball up and down the field all day, and the one thing that we talked about this week was capitalizing in the red zone, and we fell short of that. Second half for us, we created a lot of penalties, a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and that can't happen, especially when you're moving the ball, consistently down the field. And so those are things that we got to clean up.
It felt like on the opening drive, you guys were in a good momentum. You had pace to it. Was there something that changed from the first half to the second half, whether it was the Rams' defense or just something different that was happening?
No, not even that. Even so, when you look at the second half and the opportunities that we got, we still moved the ball efficiently down the field. Coming out, we had all those penalties, holding penalties down the field and things like that. And that's on us, man. We got to learn how to let go at the proper time, and we can't kick ourselves in especially in the red zone in the foot with those penalties. But when you look at it, man, I don't think they really did anything to really stop us. We just created problems for ourselves.
2 games left on the season going forward. As a leader of the offense, what's your message to the team?
We got to keep pushing, man. We got a lot of football left. 2 games. Obviously, we're out of the playoffs, but we're playing for a lot of things. We're playing for ourselves. We're playing for the name on the back of the jersey. You're playing for the name on the front of the jersey. All 53 men on this roster and the coaches that put these game plans together. So you got a lot to play for. You got a lot to be thankful for. A lot of people are not able to have these opportunities to play football. And we're playing a kids game for a king's ransom. So that's the opportunity that we got to step on the field and take.
Last one for you. Olu Fashanu, obviously he got hurt at the end of the game there. How proud are you of the way that he has stepped into that left tackle role and really just risen to the occasion?
Man, it's unbelievable, man, and it's just a testament to who he is. Why he got drafted so high as an offensive tackle, and just the guys around him, man. I don't take Tyron Smith for granted. I've learned a lot of things from him as well, and that's what our room is about, is just learning from one another. We've all been in different situations, different aspects of the game of our life, and when you can talk football in and off the field, it creates a brotherhood, and that's what you get. Olu's a phenomenal football player, but he's a better person off the field, and I know he's going to work his butt to get ready and see what happens, and I take my hat off to him. I got a lot of respect for him as a young rookie.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, Morgan.
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you.
The New York Jets and Duncan are back with another holiday sweepstakes. Text SIPS to 26154 for your chance to win 2 2025 Jets season tickets and a free year of Dunkin' Coffee. Terms and conditions may apply. You're watching Jets Overtime. We're presented by SiriusXM. Eric Allen alongside Quincy Nunwa. Before we get to the grades, I thought this game turned early in the third quarter. The Jets had just 3 possessions in the first half. They come out of halftime, and they had a drive that took forever.
Yeah.
Gets inside the red zone. Jeff Ulbrich decides to go for it on 4th down. What do you see there on the fade from Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams?
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like he might have had somebody else open there. But, that's one of those things. They've done that so many times. I think he believed that he was going to make that pass. Unfortunately, it was not the most accurate pass for those guys. They didn't connect. And, obviously we saw what happened next. The thing that I really want to point out, though, is the penalty battle, right? I talked about in the beginning in the pregame show that the penalties would be the thing that they would need in order to dodge the Blues. Now we are sitting with the Blues, unfortunately, because the Jets lost the penalty battle with 8 penalties.
Yeah, and the Rams only finished with 19 points. Their touchdown in the second half comes off a strip sack of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Cam Curl got to him, Jared Verse on the recovery, and the winning touchdown is Stafford from Tyler Higbee. Creative play call there from Sean McVay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, the Rams really didn't do that much on offense outside of the run game. Most of their scores were from short fields.
All right, let's get into our grades right now. Maybe let's start defense.
All right, defensively was my best grade for them. I think the defense did as best as they could. That first 2 drives were really good. I think I gave them a C+. Let me see that.
They're waiting for you. Oh,
yeah,
C. Okay.
So I wasn't happy ultimately with the complete showing of the defense, right? 100-plus yards from the running back. I think we knew that they was going to be the guy that they would go to, but they really kind of slowed down Matt Stafford. He only got his passes, like I said, 10 of 19 were behind the line of scrimmage. They forced him to throw those short passes, but they could not stop them from scoring. Obviously, when you only have 33 yards to score, it's a lot easier for you, though.
I'm going B-. Listen, they were playing without Quinnen Williams today. I know Kyron Williams got his. He was my X factor today, and he went over 100 yards. Tony Adams also had an interception. Matt Stafford wasn't really wheeling and dealing. Nakua made some plays out there for the Rams, and they converted early on with some of those 3rd downs. But ultimately, the Jets defensively gave the offense an opportunity to win this game. And again, that touchdown in the second half when the game's tied and the Rams take the lead comes off a very short field foul and a strip sack. Yeah. There you go. Quincy Williams making the tackle on Williams there. There's Puka Nakua being taken down by Chuck Clark. Jet safety is very active today. Okay, let's go on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so offensively, this is one of my worst grades for the team. I gave them a D+. A D+. I think, I like that Aaron Rodgers was able to throw for 245 yards. It looks good. He had a touchdown, right? But then you have the fumble. You talk about their first drive. It was 7 for 7. It was nice and even run and pass. Then after that, the run started to become lower and lower, less and less. They were not going to the run. I think this was a perfect game to do that. We talk about time of possession. Obviously, they won time of possession, but that was because the Rams didn't have to go very far whenever they had the ball.
I went with the C-, so we're right in the same kind of range. I thought the offense had a pretty good start to the game, and another limited possessions as far as that first half is concerned. When you're talking about the 3 offensive possessions, I thought Breece Hall played really well, especially with the yards after the catch. I would have loved to see more Hall in the second half. Garrett Wilson, not much involvement until really late in this ball game, and again, the Jets held to just 9 points. You go out of the stadium and you have 9 points, you're not going to win many ball games, and the Jets are 4-11 right now. How about special teams?
Yeah, special teams was bad as well. D+ there. Obviously, that last punt that we all saw was terrible. Then you have the missed field goal, the missed extra point. Just a poor showing from the special teams unit. One that has been up and down all year. So, it kind of came into culmination today, and, it's just kind of a microcosm of the season.
You're totally right on there, because my grade was just C-, but, Brant Boyer is not going to be happy with what happened out there today. Anders Carlson misses the extra point. That sequence in the game was emblematic of what has happened for the Jets the entire season. When you're talking about 4th down, it's right before the 2-minute warning, and what are you going to do? Max Mitchell, unfortunately, in the game because Olu-Fashanu is out with a foot injury. He has a false start. Then Carlson misses the field goal that would have made it a 1-possession game, and then finally this game basically ends with a muff punt. So a really tough outing for the Jets special teams. All right, now we're going to go back in the Jets locker room, and Caroline's standing by with Chuck Clark.
Here with Chuck Clark. Chuck, what was Coach Ulbricht's message to the team after today?
Honestly, the message they just gave us was just stick together. Everybody's heart, everybody's mind is right. We all locked in, but just stay together, stay the course.
From a defensive perspective, I know you guys started today without Quinnen Williams, and then Sauce Gardner goes down and Tony Adams goes down. I know it's next man up mentality, but how hard is that to adjust without 3 really pivotal players on the defense?
It's extremely tough, In this game, injuries are going to happen, and like how you just said, the next man up. But it's always tough, to try to replace key parts on any side of the ball.
Did you feel like something changed in the second half with the Rams' offense and the way that they were attacking you guys?
I think they stuck to their run game. They definitely. I think like I said, I think they stuck to their run game. They just were executing more than us, honestly.
Going forward, you guys are now on the road against Buffalo coming up next with 2 games left on the season. What is your message to this defensive core?
We're going out there to play lights out every time we take the field. Ain't nothing changed, We line up, we come to play football regardless of, postseason implications or whatnot. We want to take this field, we want to go ball.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, Chuck.
Thank you.
Here's our game summary. We're going to get into that right now. For MetLife Stadium, the Jets, of course, fall to 4-11 with a loss to the NFC West leaders. That's the LA Rams. He finished with just 242 total yards. He told me before this game that the Rams, Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Williams out of the backfield, they were going to finish with 242 yards. Sign me up. But instead, the Jets lose by 10 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the passing one is the most obvious one for me. After watching the film, I really saw that Matt Stafford was struggling in the last week or so. The 49ers really gave the game plan away on how to kind of slow him down. And today, the Jets did a good job of that. He couldn't push the ball down the field. Just unfortunately, he was given the ball on a short field, and it allowed him to score, and that's why the stats look the way they do.
All right, speaking of stats, so one thing I want to talk to you about is Aaron Rodgers finishes 28 of 42 for 256 with the 1 touchdown. The Jets, conversely, have just 20 rush attempts in this ball game. So it's 2-to-1 pass to run ratio.
in a game where you really didn't have to throw the ball that much, right? Like, I mean, ultimately, you just needed to move the ball down the field. You could have kept the ball as long as you needed to. It wasn't a game where you were too far behind. You know, it was a close game all game. Running the ball would not have been too bad. They just kind of went away from it. And if you watch the interviews during the week, Breece Hall had mentioned, you know, wanting to get the ball a little bit more. It's going to be something that they'll continue to talk about throughout the rest of the year. They're going to Buffalo next. It's going to be cold. That's going to be a game where you're going to have to run the ball. I think those 3 backs will be happy to get the ball in.
So a valuable piece on this Jets defense for the past couple years, not just this year, has been Solomon Thomas. He got the start today in place of Quinnen Williams, who was down with a hamstring injury. We're going to go back to the locker room right now. Here's Caroline with Solly.
Here with Solomon Thomas. Solly, what was Coach Ulbricht's message to the team?
You know, we just have to find a way to finish. You know, we got to figure it out, and just a tough game. You know, don't have words for games like that all the time. There's always not the right thing to say, but we got to find a way to finish, and we're a better football team than that.
What did you think was the difference from the first half to the second half? Did the Rams change anything offensively?
I mean, for us, it was just, you know, being more efficient on third down, I think, and then, like, just stopping the drive. You know, they, let up that touchdown in the end zone. Well, with Higbee, you just have to find a way to get them off the field no matter what happens. Like, offensively, no matter what happens, we have to get them off the field. We have to make a stop. We have to do our job. So, really, that's what was it, you know, and just got to get points off the board.
No Quinnen Williams coming into today's matchup, so you had to kind of step up and take that spot. What was different about that for you? And obviously, no Quinnen, how much did that affect the defensive line?
I mean, Quinnen's one of our leaders. He's one of the best players in the league, so it's always tough losing someone like that, you know. So, you know, we decided we wanted to step up and, you know, play hard for Quinnen and get the win for Quinnen, obviously to get that done. But, you know, when you lose a play like that, you have to step up and make plays. Don't think we made enough plays to step up for that. But, you know, we're a good enough team where we can, and we have enough guys to step up for him. But we have to execute at a higher level.
Awesome. Appreciate the time, Solomon.
All right. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
All right, we have 2 weeks left in the Jets 2024 season. You can continue to catch us all season long on CBS New York, 1JD Films, of course, Jets Game Day, and we're right back. And Jets Late Night is going to air tonight. Eric Allen, Quincy Nunua here at MetLife Stadium. You know, I just looked at it. The Rams, 2 touchdown drives.
Yep.
33 yards in the first half after stonewalling the Jets on a rushed attempt on 4th down. And then that second touchdown drive was 21 yards following the takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what do you do? It's frustrating, and I feel for those guys in the locker room because there's no way you can look at this game and think you're not supposed to win this game. I feel for the fans as well, right? Because you're watching this team and you're watching what's going on, and everything is so close. They're right there every time. I mean, you look at teams like the Chiefs where they're playing these close games, they find a way to get out on the other side. This team has not been able to do that, but they stay really close in every game. You know, you don't want to look for moral victories,
right?
But for them, you know, it's so confusing. Like, you're right there, and those are the biggest heartbreaks. You almost want to get whooped because at least you know you were supposed to lose. These games are tough because it's like we could win these games, and you continue to find ways to lose.
Speaking of so close, there was a space heater out here just a second ago, but it took off. So we were so close to having some heat out here. I make light because it's been a tough season, no doubt about that. I'm being told we're going to look at the game summary one time. Oh, here's the upcoming schedule. The Jets will be at Buffalo next week. The Bills, of course, have won 5 consecutive AFC East titles. They are in line to be either the AFC's number 2 seed. They got an outside shot at being the number 1 seed. And then finally, the season wraps up against the Miami Dolphins. There is a look at the game summary. The Jets fall to 4-11. The Rams improve to 9-6. Q, it was another tough ball game in a series, in a season that's been so disappointing because the expectations were so high leading into this one. But for the Jets, this game seems like another microcosm of what we've seen throughout.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lost for words, right? Like, you know, you as I speak about this game, you know, I can almost feel my blood boiling for the players, for the fans, for everybody watching this game, for myself. So, you know, I think we've said a lot already. Ultimately, those guys have to figure it out. You know, you got 2 more games left. You have a new GM coming in, a new head coach coming in. You want to be on this team next year. So you got to figure out what do I need to do to be here next year or to be in the league next year, right? Because this is a dog-eat-dog game. Like if you put bad film out there, there's no chance for you to go on another team. So you have to make sure you're playing well these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Bills aren't going to feel sorry for you.
At all.
And as we get out of here, a couple things. Prayers go out to Olu Fashanu because that kid has come in and been really impressive his rookie year. He goes down with a foot injury. Anytime you see somebody carted off, your thoughts are with him. We'll to see what happens after he gets further tests. And that's it. We're going to say season's greetings, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. We will be back next week. Q will be off next week, but we'll get him back for the season finale against the Miami Dolphins. We'll see you pregame central before Jets Bills.